This is the Night Wolf howling at you. And behold, before us stands the Collector, Skeletor's evil airship. And this is part of the cartoon collection for Masters of the Universe. On the front of the box, we see He-Man being grabbed by the Collector as Man-at-Arms fires at it, with Battlecat roaring and doing nothing useful. We also have Teela piloting the Talon Fighter with a couple of the guards behind her on sky sleds. Our art continues on the side where we see Imp from Hordak. So that's kind of interesting. On the other side, we have She-Ra and Swiftwind, leading me to believe that we may have an upcoming cartoon collection She-Ra coming out, which would be awesome, because I definitely think her uniform is better than the one that came on the original toy version. And finally, on the back, we have the product selection showing a whole bunch of the cartoon collection figures that aren't even out yet. And of course, the physical collector. Although it is kind of weird that the artwork on the front, it looks like it's green. On the back, it's yellow for the plastic on the windshield and the arm. But currently on order was, in fact, I think they just showed up at Big Bad Toy Store. We got the Merman, Web Store, and Stratos, I think, are all currently available. Currently just came in at Big Bad Toy Store. Man-at-Arms is already out. Teela's already out. Trapjaw's out. He-Man and Skeletor are out. Evil Lyn, I don't think we've had an order for her yet. Same for Spikor and Clotho, who looks more like he's a snake man than an actual crab. Well, let's go ahead and open this sucker up, shall we? That is a big vehicle. That is going to take up a lot of room in the collection also, which is a little bit disheartening, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, never thought we'd see one of these. And even though it's not really to scale, because, you know, we've seen He-Man fight on top of it in the cartoon, it's still pretty nice. And probably more than we should have ever expected. But what I'd really like to see is the full battle ram. Some assembly required. Well, on the plus side, the inside of the cardboard is painted red, but it's still boring. So the only pieces that we apparently have to attach to it are the two fins, which on the back of the box it tells you where they go. Big fin in the front, little fin in the back apparently. And based on this design, I am assuming that the fins are not going to come out once you put them in there. Oh yeah, you heard them snap into place. So if you thought about playing with this and then throwing it back in the cardboard, it ain't going to happen. All right. Articulation wise, the little grabby hands spin. Well, let's go ahead and take a look here on the outside of this thing first. So we've got the kind of look of a skull on the front, slightly. Little nose hole and the holes for the windshield. Again, the little claws do spin. Fins are at the top. I'm not sure, like, I don't know if this was actually part of the ship in the original series here, or if this bottom area here is just on there to help hold it, up properly. There does appear to be some plastic issue here on mine. I don't know how well you can see that. Kind of looks like something got stuck somewhere or something. When we look on the bottom, there is some detailing on it. It is designed for a flight stand, which I don't think any of the flight stands we currently have are going to be able to hold this thing up. I'm actually kind of curious though. There's a bunch of screws back here, and then there's this thing here. It's like a metal peg. So I'm not sure what that's for. Also, what's interesting is like looking in the hole where the flight stand goes, if I can get a good look at it here. It almost looks like there's cardboard on the other side of that. Anyway, I was kind of wondering if there was going to be any kind of switch or something here, but I guess you just pull out the little handhold things, or the arms, which unfortunately, other than coming out, they have no real give to them. They are a hollow, clear tube. A little bit of detailing, and then go in and out a little bit here and there. But it just feels like they should be able to articulate a little more, Although I suppose like putting a bunch of ball joints here would have been way too much money. But that would have been kind of cool. Maybe somebody will make something like that you could actually swap out. Same on the other side. Same part on the other side. Also to note, there is, however they've got it set up in there, it does hold into place when it's open this far. So basically each one of these little grooves here coincide with whatever's holding it in place. So, and then finally all the way at the end. So these things are, just kind of designed to help keep it from just like sliding on its own. Now we can open this thing up. And we have a bag of blast effects. And I'm going to just take a wild guess here that they probably aren't made to be compatible with any other thing. This is where Transformers has really got it going with their setup. They've designed their blast effects to work with each other and with pretty much any toy. But the blast effects just kind of go into the little grabby hands to look like it's shooting fire out of it. I'm not going to lie though, almost nothing in my display actually uses blast effects. That's kind of weird. What's supposed to be right here? Okay, so when we look at this, this definitely looks like there's meant to be something here, but I don't see anything. I'm going to have to take a look at some of the other reviewers' videos on this and see if anybody else got something that's supposed to go there. Or if maybe that was something that they were going to add but didn't, or perhaps there's something that will come with another figure that will fit in there. But that definitely looks like some kind of control panel or something should be there. But let's just point out that is Skeletor's seat, which is done in gold and has more details than the other seats do. We got a pilot seat here. The yoke on the pilot seat is articulated so that you can move it all around like on a ball joint. So you should have no problem putting that in the hands of anybody. And then there's a couple control knobs here that you're not going to do anything with because there's not going to be a figure that is going to be able to hold on to those. Except maybe Squeeze, but I don't think you can fit all of his arms in there. I really want to know what is going on with this thing here, though. Seriously. That definitely looks like there should be something attached to it. Let's go ahead and load up our figure. You know what? I'm just going to leave that off. We can fit Skeletor on his little throne back there. We can put Trapjaw in the co-pilot seat. And as mentioned before, even with his little extended arm there, he can't reach those controls. And now we will do Beastman. I don't know if you're supposed to bend the knee. This is like super awkward. I'm going to make a prediction here that this is not going to look right once he's sitting down. Okay. So we have... Man, this is annoying. Alright, so... This is kind of... Okay, this is Beastman sitting in the chair properly, right? Butt in it, back in the back. This is going to be a terrible video, isn't it? Can't really reach the control yoke that way. So we have to slide him forward. And now, he's not really sitting... Well, I mean, obviously he's not sitting in the seat because I lifted it up. But once you put it back down, he's still not really sitting in the seat properly. So that's kind of an issue there. I wonder. Okay. So let's take another quick look at this. I've raised the camera a little bit. Unfortunately... Alright, so to get a better look at this from this point of view. So Trapjaw sits in the seat just fine. Skeletor also sits in the seat just fine. Beastman, however, if you want him to hold the control yoke, has his butt almost on the floor. Without, and then his little harness thing goes all the way back that way. So this control yoke is not really long enough. And I realize that part of that has to do with being able to get the figure in there. But I don't see why they couldn't have had, like, it slide a little bit or whatever. And just to make sure, again, we put Skeletor in position when his when he's back in the seat properly, because this is without having the little furry back part that Beastman has, he again does not reach the control yoke. And I don't see why they couldn't have made this a little bit longer. There is absolutely no reason, because if it was longer, you can still fit the figure in here properly like that. But once you've got those hands on that control yoke, the figure can no longer properly sit in the seat. Now, I mean, for display purposes, it's really not going to matter a whole lot. But it's just kind of an annoying little bit of information, I guess. Get out of my seat, Beast Man. Ugh. Also to note, how well that can be seen, but Skeletor's seat actually has little skulls or heads at the end of the armrests. It's actually surprising how well the figures fit in those spaces, though, overall, aside from the driver's seat. And the only problem with that is, again, just the control yoke is just badly positioned. Now, though, still, what is supposed to go there? And, of course, you can, in fact, grab a figure with the arm and spin him all around. So overall, it's cool that we got a new vehicle for Masters of the Universe. And it is the Collector. Ooh, you know what, though? I've been using the Cartoon Collection figures, but I wonder how well the Origins ones will fit. Because as you guys remember, the legs are actually designed differently. Of course, he doesn't fit in there properly, like Beastman. I mean, they are kind of shorter. Oh, jeez. He can still fit in there. And I think these little slots here are supposed to be feet stops for the figure. Because they also have them back here as well. But you might not be able to see them very well. So anyway, I think that will complete our look at the Collector. I feel like this was kind of a poorly done video, to be honest, but once I got it open, there's really not much to talk about with it. Definitely more of a display item than a play item, I would say, overall. But not a bad one. The real thing is, to be perfectly fair, unless you're actually displaying it with the top open, which I kind of feel like defeats the purpose of this, you know, you're not really going to put any figures in there. Ow. This isn't like the castles where, or even the Eternian playset where you can set up the figures around it and have all the figures displayed. Once you have this thing closed, you know, your figures are no longer really visible. I mean, yeah, you can kind of see them through there. And unless you got duplicate figures specifically for displaying in here, there's really no point in displaying with the figures inside. And to be honest, the inside just isn't designed well enough in my opinion, for it to be displayed open like this. So those are some issues in my opinion. But let me know what you think about that. Like, if you do buy this, how do you want to display it? Like, it is a cool vehicle, and it's nice to have like a new vehicle. Though I would still prefer they put out the battle ram or the attack track first. And I still want to know what the heck is supposed to be attached to that thing. Is it something that is actually missing from mine, or is it something that Mattel just got rid of and decided because, what the extra like 50 cents or whatever it was cost? But yeah, I'll have to take a look at. I'm sure Toy Habits has probably put one up by now. Uh, and by now, I mean literally while I'm recording this, because this probably won't get posted until like Thursday, I'm sure. Anyway, please feel free to like and comment and subscribe. Peace and love.